The Property Bulletin by London Property, the home of superprime.
The trajectory of the housing market in 2024 is showing signs of improvement, ushering in a more optimistic outlook for both buyers and sellers. Knight Frank, a prominent estate agent, has made a noteworthy adjustment to its house price forecasts, revising its predictions upwards. Initially projecting a 4% decline in mainstream prices for the year, Knight Frank now anticipates a 3% increase, reflecting a substantial shift in sentiment. The updated forecasts reveal a nuanced scenario, with high-end country house prices expected to decrease by 2%, a milder drop compared to the 3% fall predicted earlier. Moreover, prime central London and prime outer London are poised for price increases of 1% and 2% respectively, in contrast to the previous forecast of 0% and 1% growth. This adjustment is attributed to a more positive economic backdrop, marked by a faster-than-expected decline in inflation and notable reductions in mortgage rates by lenders. However, the housing market's continued momentum hinges on various factors, as highlighted by Knight Frank. The timing of the general election and potential risks stemming from the ongoing conflict in the Red Sea, including the threat of higher UK inflation, add an element of uncertainty to the market's trajectory. Rightmove, a prominent property portal, reports a tentatively promising start to the new year, with a notable surge in both buyer and seller activities. The first week of 2024 witnessed a 15% increase in homes brought to the market compared to the same period in the previous year. Buyer demand also saw a 5% uptick from 2023 levels. Notably, asking prices for newly marketed homes rose by 1.3%, the largest January increase since 2020, and more than double the 20-year average. Tim Bannister, Director of Property Science at Rightmove, observes a positive trend for sellers, with increased confidence in pricing and heightened buyer activity. However, he cautions sellers against setting overly ambitious price expectations, emphasizing the need for a balanced approach. The Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, RICS, provides additional insights, indicating a gradual improvement in the housing market. RICS's monthly survey reveals a reduction in downward pressure on house prices, with the least negative reading since November 2022. Surveyors foresee a solid recovery in sales, backed by stabilizing buyer demand and recent mortgage rate cuts. Despite these positive indicators, RICS senior economist Tarrant Parsons highlights the ongoing restrictive lending climate, suggesting that any upturn in activity may be somewhat limited in the near term. Overall, the evolving landscape of the housing market in 2024 appears to be fostering cautious optimism, with various factors influencing its trajectory in the coming months. In an interventionist move, which it is claimed might assist first-time buyers, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is reportedly considering a radical scheme that guarantees mortgages requiring just a 1% deposit. The government, aiming to address the challenges faced by young Britons trying to enter the property market, is exploring this initiative ahead of the spring budget on March the 6th, according to sources. This potential scheme represents a significant expansion of the previous Help to Buy programme, where Britons could purchase new builds with 5% deposits. The proposed move would involve backing lenders to offer 99% loan-to-value mortgages, allowing buyers to enter the market with deposits as low as 1%. For instance, someone looking to buy a house at the UK national average of £290,000 would only need a £2,900 deposit under this government-backed plan. While this initiative aims to provide a short-term solution for young individuals who have struggled to save larger deposits, property experts caution that it could have adverse effects. Concerns centre around the potential inflation of house prices and the failure to address the fundamental issue of housing shortages. Jonathan Rowland, founder of the National Association of Property Buyers, emphasised that such a short-term political fix may create a temporary surge in demand, allowing some young buyers to enter the market. However, it could intensify competition for the limited number of available homes, ultimately driving up prices. Rowland argued that the root problem lies in the dwindling supply of new homes due to planning constraints and rising material and labour costs. Labour's deputy leader, Angela Rayner, criticised the government for not addressing the supply of affordable homes and for neglecting reforms to the planning system. She emphasised that a serious housing policy should include a plan to increase supply. While major lenders are reportedly cautious about the idea of 1% deposits due to increased risks of defaults and repossessions, the government may need to underwrite a significant portion of the mortgages to cover potential losses. Additionally, this scheme would not directly address the issue of first-time buyers passing affordability tests for monthly payments. The housing market has become a focal point for political considerations, with Chancellor Sunak and Jeremy Hunt aiming to attract younger voters in an election year. The proposed scheme is part of broader discussions that include potential moves such as scrapping inheritance tax and expanding free childcare, sparking debates on balancing short-term political gains with long-term economic consequences. Recent findings by Cornerstone Tax have brought to light that British pension holders may be eligible for nearly £6 billion in stamp duty refunds from HMRC due to misadvice. The discovery arises from instances where owners of commercial properties transfer them into their pensions. Some solicitors and advisors may have mistakenly advised their clients that stamp duty needed to be paid when it was not required. In response, Cornerstone Tax has successfully assisted 180 affected clients, achieving a 100% success rate. The total saved amounts to around £6 million, with an average refund of almost £33,000 per client. Pension-related transactions, particularly involving the transfer of commercial properties to pension funds for retirement planning, have become a significant source of stamp duty errors. Cornerstone highlights that this error not only led to initial losses from pension capital due to incorrect stamp duty land tax (SDLT) payments, but also hindered the potential for investing that capital, resulting in the loss of potential growth over the years. The calculated value of the claim for the average error is estimated at 150% of the incorrectly paid tax, assuming a 7% return on investment (ROI). Identifying the issue in early 2019, Cornerstone Tax approached members of the pensions industry with their concerns and obtained advance clearance from HMRC. The confirmation stated that pensions acquiring trade properties from joint owners or owner-managed companies since 2007 and paying SDLT on these contributions to pension schemes should not have incurred SDLT. It is estimated that this misadvice has affected 3,000 to 5,000 cases annually, totaling 45,000 to 75,000 cases since 2007. Individuals affected by these errors could be owed up to £80,000 each. The acknowledgement of this serious issue took over 2 years and the intervention of former Pensions Minister, Baroness Ross Altman. Cornerstone Tax emphasises the importance of conducting thorough analyses, seeking professional advice, and understanding applicable regulations to minimise the risk of overpaying SDLT. In cases of overpayment, prompt review, gathering evidence, and pursuing appropriate actions are advised to claim a refund or make necessary adjustments. Google has announced a substantial $1 billion investment in a new data centre, located in Waltham Cross, north of London, showcasing the tech giant's commitment to meeting the escalating demand for internet services in the UK. Acquired by Google in 2020, the 33-acre site is currently undergoing construction, with plans to significantly expand the company's capacity and extend its services to businesses throughout the country. In a statement, Google highlighted the positive impact on the local community, emphasizing that the development will generate construction and technical jobs in the area. Once completed, the investment aims to provide essential compute capacity to businesses across the UK, supporting advancements in artificial intelligence and ensuring reliable digital services for Google Cloud customers and users in the UK and beyond. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak expressed his support for Google's investment, acknowledging its significance in reinforcing the UK's position as the largest tech economy in Europe. In a tweet, Sunak stated, "It's a huge vote of confidence in the UK, bringing with it good jobs and the infrastructure needed to support British businesses." This substantial investment aligns with the UK government's commitment to building a digital infrastructure capable of supporting a super-connected future and meeting the growing demand for high-speed internet access. The move follows the UK's progress in enhancing digital infrastructure, with superfast broadband coverage reaching 97% 2 years ago. Google's investment in the UK is not a new development, as the tech giant already employs over 7,000 people in the country. In 2022, Google made additional strategic investments, acquiring multiple sites in central London, including a building in Covent Garden and another in King's Cross. The latter location is not only witnessing the construction of a new office, but is also home to Google's AI company, DeepMind. This latest investment reinforces Google's commitment to the UK market and its ongoing contribution to the nation's technology landscape. In the unfolding landscape of 2024, the property sector is bracing itself for a series of significant legal transformations. One key development on the horizon is the anticipated change to the code governing the signing and exchanging of property contracts. The Law Society is actively working on introducing a code of practice for this purpose, with a focus on making digital transactions more seamless. The objective is not only to modernize the procedures involved, but also to offer clarity and efficiency to both commercial and residential property lawyers, enabling them to transition towards digital exchanges that align with 21st century standards. Another substantial shift comes in the form of the Renters Reform Bill, a legislative milestone that was initially earmarked for passage in 2022 to 23, but faced delays due to government changes. This comprehensive bill, described by the government as a once-in-a-generation overhaul of housing law, encompasses pivotal changes such as the prohibition of no-fault evictions and the enhancement of tenant rights, including considerations for pet ownership. As of now, the bill is navigating through the committee stages, with an estimated implementation date of October the 1st, 2024. It's important to note that the initial impact will be on new tenancies, with pre-existing tenancies falling under its purview 12 months later. The Leasehold and Freehold Reform Bill, introduced in November, represents yet another facet of the evolving legal framework. This bill seeks to bolster tenant rights by amending existing legislation, specifically the Leasehold Reform Act 1967 and the Leasehold Reform Housing and Urban Development Act 1993. Among its provisions are an extension of the standard lease term to an impressive 990 years for both houses and flats, a reduction of ground rent to £0, and the elimination of the requirement for a new leaseholder to own the property for 2 years before extending their lease or purchasing their freehold. The bill also includes measures to ban the sale of new leasehold houses in England and Wales, rebalance legal cost structures, and facilitate a smoother process for buying or selling leasehold properties. Navigating these legislative changes is no small feat, given the intricacies of property law, a domain rooted in both ancient statutes and evolving case law. As these changes unfold, it becomes increasingly important for industry stakeholders to stay abreast of developments. In moments of uncertainty, seeking guidance from a qualified property lawyer is a prudent step, ensuring a comprehensive understanding of the new legal landscape and its potential impacts. The dynamic nature of property law underscores the need for proactive engagement and expertise in navigating this complex terrain.
Subscribe to our newsletter to receive our weekly bulletins and stay ahead of what's shaping the super prime property market.